Music Production.
What is poppin'? Let's take a look at supply and demand zones. This is a very important technical analysis tool that you could use to give you an edge when analyzing markets, okay? So what is a supply, right? What is a supply zone? A supply zone is essentially an area, a certain price, where there is more outstanding shares than there are people willing to buy, investors willing to buy at that price. And the exact opposite, a demand zone, is when there's more buyers at that specific price that are willing to purchase it than there is outstanding shares. And when people look at this, they tend to look at it too literally. These zones can take a lot of time to develop, and then over the time that they're developing, they can be looked at as accumulation or distribution zones, which we'll get right into here. So this is Galaxy Digital Holdings. We're going to zoom in. We're on the weekly time frame, and we're going to point out just simply from the get-go the price action, right? Where are the supply and demand zones here? So right here, this is kind of a price that gets rejected, right? So we have this marked out. This is what we would call a supply zone. Price comes into this zone and there's not enough buyers compared to the outstanding shares. So what happens is the price decreases from this area. But then as you can see, we come down to this level right around here, and this is around 70 cents to $1. And there's more people willing to buy the price at these levels, right? So that causes a chain reaction and increases the price. But then we kind of battle up in this range, right? So again, it comes right back into that 290 zone, and we can't yet break it. There's still not enough shares, not enough buyers that are going to scoop up all the shares at that level. So again, it takes some time and we bounce up. Now, if we look over here and we continue to drag this out, right, it's very interesting to see we come right back into this range. And again, now that there's enough buyers in this range, we get the demand spike and we come back down, and look where we're at again. We're right back into this demand zone. This was once a supply. It turns into demand when the price increases over it, and then we back test it, ensuring that there's enough buyers that that are willing to buy at this price. Back here they weren't willing, now they are, and here we are again. They're willing to buy it once again. So you could use this to your advantage. Right now, as you can see, the price has been increasing from that level. It's gone up 40% just from this demand zone. So what's an area we can look at where we could potentially go to? Well, this zone here, right, very similar. It once acted as like if you really look back, it was technically a supply zone for a little bit. We come back down, we break above it. Now there's more people willing to buy at this price. So it's acting as a demand for a long time. It came back into this zone once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and we got a pop each time. So that's telling us there was people willing to buy. With all the bearish news in the crypto market and Bitcoin decreasing in price, we break below this demand zone, and it is now acting as a supply because there's not enough people willing to buy in this range than there are outstanding shares. So now that's an area we could look into in the coming months, weeks. When we break above it, if we go to break above it, right, we break above this trend line, it could come up into this range eventually where we'll be looking to see it act as supply, right? So when we're looking at this here, this could be looked at as a accumulation zone. People are trying to accumulate shares at a very low price. But if we look up into this range, every time there's a very large distribution zone up here. And this is distribution because we've come up into this range twice, and there is way too many outstanding shares here than there are people willing to buy at this $40, $42, $44 range. So that is just a simple, quick breakdown of supply and demand zones. Hope you guys find that helpful. Easy.